Week 4, and I should be over halfway through my Kiwi Dream renovation. But I gotta tell you, it sure doesn't feel like it. It feels like the hill is getting steeper and steeper and harder to climb. But this week, we start work on my second bedroom downstairs, and I check in on the progress of my new divine kitchen being designed by Cowboy. I do have a serious problem though with my lounge floor. The $11,000 I paid a dodgy tradesman ended up going with him to Vegas. And now I don't have a solution for the horrible buckling mess of an underfloor I've got in that lounge. I am in debt more than I know how to manage, but here we are, pressing on. I have had some wins, but things are going to have to go a lot more my way if we are going to finish my Kiwi Dream.
I've been thinking about all we planned. I've been thinking about all we dreamed. I've been thinking about living the life supreme. I look around and see just where we are. I can't believe we've come so far. I just want to shout about it. Now there's no doubt about it. We're living the Kiwi Dream.
This is my 1950s Kiwi Dream renovation project, perched above Karaka Bay, offering fabulous views out over the Hauraki Gulf. The potential is unlimited. The task, however, is enormous. At least I have a solid team supporting me. My project manager from Refresh Renovations is Talia Jones. Mike Hayward, also from Refresh, is my technical advisor and other project manager. My architect is Dean Wiley. Sally Ridge is my interior designer. My landscape designer is Pascal Tibbetts from Natural Habitats. Blue Cross are providing all the building, electrical and plumbing contractors. Mike Pero from Mike Pero Mortgages is brokering the finance. And National Personnel are my demolition guys. The house is on 2 levels, an upper ground level where the master bedroom and living spaces are, and a lower ground level. We've been approaching one room at a time, and on this downstairs level we've already managed to create a 3rd bedroom come office come media room. My next project is to tackle the downstairs 2nd bedroom. I can tell this space has been tinkered with before. And by the colours of the walls, I'd say it was back in the 80s when pale yellow was kind of fashionable for a bedroom. I'd like to retain the old plaster walls on the window side of the room as a connection back to its 50s roots. But other than that, I want to strip it all back to the bones and start again. So, time for the boys from National Personnel to work their demolition magic.
Oh, I thought you were going to take this as well. That's all right. I'll walk up.
While the demolition continues downstairs, there's a much messier business playing out upstairs with the underfloor in the main living space. This may look like a perfectly flat surface, but on closer inspection you can tell it's buckled. This is meant to be the base for placing my lovely timber floor on, but it's just not going to happen until this worrying problem is sorted out. Let's recap on this whole sorry tale. When the old floor was ripped up in the main living and dining area, it revealed a challenging mixed mash of uneven surfaces. As well as that, it was discovered that there was a curious cavity under the floor that would need to be addressed to make the floor safe and stable. So to help minimise the issues, my building manager, Mike Hayward from Refresh Renovations, suggested I go with a tile slate floor, which in the difficult circumstances would be more forgiving. But I insisted on having a timber finish, which, as Mike described, was not going to make it any easier.
I'm saying tiles is the best option, mainly because of the substrate that we've got inside. So easy, difficult, actually on the extreme end of difficult.
Don't care, I want timber. And Mike was not wrong. The underfloor preparation was going to be technical and tricky. I became part of the problem when, despite strong resistance from Mike Hayward, I insisted on using the friend of a friend who claimed he could do the underfloor job much more cheaply than Mike's recommended guy. Mike, don't be a worrywart.
That camera's on, I'm saying now, and this is on the record, that this is a bad idea, and I bet you I'll be saying I told you so.
My guy seemed like he knew what he was doing. But once he'd left and the guys from Timber Floor Solutions put the level on it, turns out it was a botched job. The underfloor buckled and it's now completely unusable. Worse still, the so-called friend of a friend demanded to be paid immediately, and then he flew to Vegas for a holiday. He refuses to admit to any fault and won't help any further. Which brings us to today, and the news only gets worse. I originally thought we were saving $6,500 by using this guy on this job. I paid Mr. Vegas $11,000 and then found out the job was useless. This is now dead money. Mike now tells me there's no choice but to rip up the whole job and start again at a cost of $5,400. This means we're currently over budget by $58,200 and I still haven't got an underfloor, which I'm now going to have to pay for again. This is a complete nightmare. Having lived through the complicated treatment and multi-stages of this underfloor preparation, it's absolutely heartbreaking to see it all being jackhammered up and dismantled. This is getting serious. For the first time, I'm wondering whether there's going to be enough money in the budget to finish this renovation. What happens? Could this be the first renovation show ever where the aftershots are actually worse than the before shots? With the grisly underfloor demolition complete, Mike Hayward's guys are working on picking up the pieces and figuring out what to do next. Max Tomlinson from Seeker was who Mike from Refresh recommended for this job in the first place. Max is one of the most experienced concrete repair specialists in the country.
I hear you got some problems with your floor.
We do, we certainly do. It's been an absolute nightmare, Max.
Looking at the floor, it's looking in very poor condition. I can understand you've got some problems with it. It's very damaged and it's very uneven. To fix that, we need to check that the concrete's strong enough to support a new floor.
Right.
We also need to make sure that there's no underlying moisture issues. With floors of this age, moisture can be a real issue. You don't know whether the polythene that's underneath the floor or the moisture barrier is functioning. So it is quite important before you repair it that you know whether there's a moisture issue or not.
So, the agony continues as we await the results of the moisture levels before we know our next move here. Man, this living room floor problem just keeps on hurting. After the break, the demolition continues in the downstairs second bedroom, and I'm starting to wonder whether we're doing the right thing here.
Nice.
Well, boys.
The underfloor moisture results are in.
There we've got 1.5%. Over there we've got 2%.
And Pascal provides a sweet distraction with a little surprise proposal for me.
Yes, yes, yes. Can I say yes again?
Absolutely, say yes.